Today, I am going to be very brutal. And I just looked at comments in the other video. I was discussing about Sifuda. And some fellows are not feeling very comfortable with it. But as I promised you that moving forward, we have to be very truthful by all, however much you feel, but we have to be very truthful. So we have to be brutal. And on this one, I want to be brutal to three gentlemen. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and Jeremiah Kioni. I'm talking to them because Raila has left Azimio and Raila has joined government. And I once analyzed here that in politics, it is not something shocking for the politicians in the caliber of Kalonzo for Azimio to die. Because they were with Raila in 2013, it was CORD. 2017, it was NASA. 2022 is Azimio. So they must be awake to the fact that political realignments do happen. And Kenyan political landscape is very unpredictable. You can wake up the next morning and it is Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta taking tea. You don't know. The Kenyan politics is very unpredictable. The three gentlemen, I have the truth, I have the truth that they should actually take. It was very shocking that Raila walked out of Azimio and joined government and is now heading to AU. Number two, of course, Raila Odinga is also saying that it is Uhuru Kenyatta who called him to call William Ruto. I don't know who you want to believe, depending on who you trust. But Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and Jeremiah Kioni cannot be hopping from one hotel to the other, from morning to evening, Monday to Saturday, and attend church funerals, church events on Sunday, only speaking about one thing. We are in the opposition and we are aligning with Gen Z. They're saying three things. We will remain in opposition even if everyone else joins government. Number two, we will align with Gen Z. Kalonzo is saying, I will face it with William Ruto. And who else? There are some things they are saying there. That we are the liberators of the country. I think it's very objective that, and I said in one of my podcasts here, that Azimio la Umoja, they failed to take opportunity that the Gen Z protest had presented. ODM decided to rush to government with it. Now the rest of the team that remained, they failed to align and take chance with it. There was a euphoria that was created by the Gen Z protest. What I have been seeing, and I want to play these two videos here. This is Kalonzo talking this side, and William Ruto is attending rallies.
Wajulikani walipo. Abductions are still there. We can see the cost of living still skyrocketing. His concern is why have the Kenyans been abandoned? And it is not how can you join a sinking ship, in fact a sunk ship. So nafikiri ni vizuri kujua tuseme hivyo tu, na tuseme ya kwamba we have no doubt in our minds that Kenyans have also decided that they are not going to do anything with this disaster, and they are only waiting for the day when that opportunity to kick them out is availed, either through the constitution or otherwise. Now when that happens, we will be with them to ensure that this disaster is gone, and it is gone for good. Kwa hivyo kama vile mkubwa wetu amesema ni kwamba tuko Embu leo na ni kulala tu, tulala hapa kwa sababu he had come to attend a private function. We are going for a church function at Kagio, Kirinyaga, where I'm sure we will be able to say many more. And we ask you, just like you cover William and Eugene in church, you should also cover us in church. If you don't cover us, don't cover them. Don't even waste us. Ni vizuri Katiba inasema you must be able to allocate equal time to the government and the opposition. And this is the opposition. Kama unaenda kutafuta ingine pale ingine, wewe unaweza kuwa pia uko na shida ya kusurura, you know, and we are going to form government. And I can tell you 2029 kuna wengine watakuja bado kuja kutuunga. You know, yeah, we will do form government by 2027. Na wale ambao wanapiga safari wanaunga wengine mkono 2029, we will also receive them that time. Asante sana.
Kilicho wazi ni kwamba sisi tumeamua kusonga mbele na Azimio na vyama tanzo, vyama members wa Azimio, wale ambao wako willing, wale ambao wameamua kuingia kwa serikali pia wako na uhuru. In fact, I remember brothers party DAP wametoa resolution kama hiyo kwamba wanaotaka kuingia kwa serikali wako na uhuru kuingia kwa serikali, lakini sisi tumeamua tutakuwa wapinzani. Naam. Because it's very important for a functioning democracy to have a strong, responsible opposition. And that is what this team is offering going forward. Yes, sir. Naam. Yeye amejibiwa vizuri na Jeremia, hata akaongea kwa lugha ya mama nikasikia kabisa. Mtu akipatikana na shida yake ataweza sema hata mimi niliongea na Uhuru jana. Kwa hivyo I don't think that's a way to go. It is very clear and you are dealing with very responsible leaders who are determined to get rid of a culture of lies in politics in Kenya. Now, we have a history, by the way, and some of us strongly mentored by Mzee Amelala, Mwai wa Kibaki. So lazima turudishe mahali Kenyan politics ilikuwa. Wewe jiulize kwa mfano, I was vice president to Kibaki. Others, Ruto was vice president to Uhuru. All right? Gachagua Society in the vice president, deputy president wa Ruto. Which of the three can you say?
Let us compare the two. Then you tell me which one is which. Now, it is high time that Kalonzo leaves Nairobi. Yes. It is high time that Kalonzo Musyoka leaves Nairobi and starts campaigning if he wants to be the president. The reason why I'm saying that you want to make it look like if you make the statement that we are remaining in opposition, we are aligning with the Gen Z, it doesn't have the traction. And I want to tell you why. In Parliament, I think for the last 10 years that Kalonzo and Raila have been in an opposition, they've not effected any change because the structure of our governance is opposition is minority. So opposition doesn't have numbers. And again, our parliament is not guided by principles. Every government, every president will always buy parliament. So there is nothing you can do. That is the brutal truth. If you take Jubilee MPs, the ones that are remaining, you take with the Wiper and you add the DAP, even if you add with the ODM, with the willing ones in the ODM, and some rebels from UDA, you cannot effect change because Ruto has majority in parliament. So there will be no tangible, there will be no significant opposition in parliament. That's number one. So stop telling the people you remain in. It is fine, and Kenyans know that fine because you've not joined government, you remain in opposition. But the public cannot feel Kalonzo's presence in opposition because to date, if you look at organizations that litigated finance bill, it was the Jimmy Wanjigis, it was the Okia Omtata, and the Katiba Institute and civil society organizations. So the public litigants that have put government on toes is actually the ones that Kenyans can see as opposition. Morara Kebaso, this gentleman walking and auditing William Ruto's project, is doing something that opposition have never done for the last, like, I don't know how many years they've been opposing, or rather doing oversight role. So the public cannot fail. And it is high time that the way William Ruto is crisscrossing the country, and I want to warn you, William Ruto is crisscrossing the country. Jeremiah Kioni is holding press conference in Nairobi here, saying the way Kenyans cannot vote for Ruto. Mount Kenya will not vote for Ruto again. This time around, Kenyans are wise. Gentlemen, stop saying Kenyans are wise. Kenyans, William Ruto is talking to the village folks. And you can see videos of those village folks clapping and marveling at the things coming from the tongues of the president. So instead of calling several press briefings in Nairobi, I submit that the remaining team of Azimio, I've heard Kalonzo saying they're forging through with Azimio. It is high time you hit the road. When just the last 99 protest, I saw Martha Karua, then I saw Jimmy Wanjigi. And even the previous, I was wondering, Kalonzo have realized that Raila is joining government. The opportune moment for Kalonzo was to join the Gen Z protest and go to the street and the CBD. Hautapigwa risasi. And even if you suffer those, you will get the attention of the media. If Kalonzo drive to CBD and then police arrest him or shoot that is what would actually attract the attention on you. So I've always said, leaders failed to seize that opportunity. You could not, it's not a must, you could even do it in Nairobi, we could even do it in another town, even in Mombasa. But I think sometimes they're not just strategic. It is not true that Ruto must lose the next election. Without an opponent, Ruto can win. And this one, Jeremiah Kioni and the fellows around, they must be very truthful to themselves. Ruto is already telling the village folks all manner of things and all manner of promises. It is only the middle class in the social media and is consuming, probably reading newspapers and seeing what is in the mainstream and in the Twitter and the Facebook, that maybe get to understand and can separate between this one he is lying, this one is true. But wale wa mama wenye wanafinyiwa stima zikiwaka, they don't know, they're very innocent. And so, this is what Kalonzo should do. Number one, why Kalonzo? They must do list for Kalonzo Musyoka. You must come out and show numbers. Politics is about optical numbers. Yes, and numbers and the might. Even if you start with Machakos, I used to see, Babu Wino used to drive in the center of Awendo and would attract huge crowds. Get your grassroots. And in Kenyan politics is the easiest to mobilize. You get some few notes around and you can mobilize a friend from maybe another place, and you will get and do a rally in Kisumu. And while in Kisumu, say what you think you can say. You must pull your numbers. Otherwise, apart from, let's say the truth, apart from the numbers that Ruto is showing us in these rallies, who else is showing us numbers? None. None. And don't say that it is too early to start campaigning. The president is campaigning. The president is not launching anything. The president is on a campaign trail. So if Ruto is on a campaign trail, so if Kalonzo is the candidate and you want to face off with William Ruto, you must show two things: that you have the money to spend by going there to campaign, because campaign is about spending, not necessarily giving people money, but you'll have to go to a place, you'll have to fuel cars and move around, and That so that you also mean you are even ready to campaign. As for now, someone can ask, is Kalonzo even campaigning? Then people can start making propaganda. You know what? Kalonzo doesn't have the money. And if you don't have the money and you want to show the might, then you should just show intent that, okay, me, I'm campaigning, I'm trying this, I don't have, fine. Kenyans might buy. I think the candidate that Kenyans want, they've not seen that candidate in either Ruto or Kalonzo or who. And by they, assumingly they are seeing that candidate in those Gen Zs. Now those Gen Zs are not presidential candidates. The Marco Ures, the Kebaso Morara, those are not the presidential candidates. So the person that wants to be the presidential candidate must reinvent. It cannot be the business as usual. The other thing must do for Kalonzo is Kalonzo Musyoka must emerge as a threat to William Ruto. You must show you are a threat. You know why? With the state power, when you emerge as a threat, you go to Embu and attract a huge crowd. The next day you are in Laikipia and people are around you. You know what will happen? They will start crushing you. Just the same way what used to happen to Maina Njenga. I feel Maina Njenga has numbers in Mount Kenya. Last year, December, he was mobilizing huge numbers. Why don't Kalonzo look for Maina Njenga? Organize one rally, even if you pay Maina, go organize one rally in Nyahururu. So that when you emerge as a state threat, the state will start crushing you. The more they crush you, the more you get your publicity. Ask Hassan Joho when he clashed with Uhuru Kenyatta. So you will be seeing stories of Kalonzo has been blocked. Kalonzo has been, I don't know, arrested. Kalonzo has been, I don't know what and what. Now, those are the things that will make you. But look, Jim Wanjigi can be arrested because the government feels is a threat to them. Number 3, initiate a program or an exercise, but I look for a program that can help you build networks, both the grassroots network and even the civil society networks. For example, look at what Raila did in 2022, from handshake to BBI. Then that BBI managed, Raila used it to campaign across the country. Oh, taking views of the people, I don't know, doing what. And he moved, by the time, and I can tell you people, kama kuna hesabu yenye haikuingia ni hiyo. By the time people would be going for a referendum of BBI, Raila had a chance of winning that referendum. And then he will take that euphoria to the ballot and say, I have brought in the new constitution, I have brought in this, I want to implement it. Then he would have had a smooth ride to the election. But that gave him contacts with people that even support initiatives in the country. If there is a constitutional review, if Kalonzo Musyoka is seeing, now there is a bill about to end protest, there are different, some very funny bills going to parliament. Kalonzo Musyoka should have initiated his own constitutional change process. Even if you use the popular initiative, you start that and you get yourself moving so that you can also take up the grassroots level. And you need to do that because there are many political orphans. I saw Waititu standing behind Kalonzo there. Waititu is a political orphan, he's looking for any home. So you must give him relevance. Others, the next day, Ruto will call from State House or Rigadi, and you will see Waititu in State House. The other thing is, Kalonzo must give substance to the media to get the coverage. You must get media coverage. By the way, if there is something that I've maintained Raila in this space is, the media loves him because he has numbers. His people watasoma gazeti, taona TV. So Kalonzo must give substance. You must be somewhere. You must do something. Not this the basic things, because the media is also not just looking for ordinary news. Go to Mombasa, attract that huge crowd. Confront William Ruto's policy. Go and whatever that Morara is doing ya kuenda kutembelea hizi projects. That is something that Kalonzo can do. Akona pesa, can go do address a crowd in this project was launched XYZ. You say this project have not been funded. This is how much, what's going on. When I get power, this is what I think, blah, blah. Media will cover. Then from there, you'll get your clout. And lastly, Raila is signaling that he could endorse William Ruto. And because Raila could endorse William Ruto, it is not prudent to think that there is something that can come from Raila Odinga. So because that is there, I think Kalonzo should start organizing himself so that in the event he doesn't get it, because I also know that Raila endorsement will not be very heavy on William Ruto. Raila has been changing positions, and I want to believe that even the convincing part that time, or God forbid, maybe by good luck he goes to AU. If by good luck he goes to AU, that means he's out of the political space. Even coming back to start saying vote for Ruto or vote for Kalonzo might not have some very big impact. In fact, it might not be very effective for him. So, might end up going home without endorsing anyone. I think instead of the press briefings in Nairobi, Kalonzo must go and face the devil. Even start prayer rallies for these kids who died during protest. With that, you're already arousing emotions. And I think my point is, Kalonzo must be in action. It is not enough to sit in Nairobi and say, I am the opposition candidate. I am with Gen Z. I don't support Raila. It's not going to add anything. You must act. That is my take.